Josh, can you rebuild Cork City? Well, usually I don't rebuild small teams because I find it quite challenging, but I thought, do you know what? We're now a rebuild channel. We've got to take on big challenges, and today we're going to try and get them in the Champions League knockout phases. Now, it might take me 50 seasons. I do not know, but I'm going to leave the rebuild file over on the Patreon with the tactic as well, and your challenge is to win the Champions League if we get there, or Europa League if we get there. If you do enjoy these bigger rebuilds, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and definitely keep the comments coming below, because as you can see, we are getting through your requests. Let's get into Season 1 and try and learn a little bit about Cork City. So Cork City, obviously over in the Irish Premier Division, I believe one of the worst teams in this division, 9th place predicted, pretty much rock bottom. So that is why the title is the way that it is. That's no disrespect on the club, but obviously I need to learn and get down pen and paper and understand about this club. So a 2-star reputation, 2.5-star training, 2-star youth facilities, and 1.5-star youth recruitment. That might not be too good, but the big thing, the owner loves the club, which obviously is a great start to have. Now, I will say you got 3 Irish Premier Divisions, 1 All-Ireland Cup, 4 Irish Senior Challenge Cups, and loads of other cups as well, but the one they are missing, or it's not really a cup, is going to be that European qualification. Now, I am going to accept Europa League qualification. I'll see what the vibe is. For me, I want to try and win a Champions League, get into the Champions League knockouts. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I do not know any of these players, and what I have done is, it might be cheating a little bit, but I am using my Meta 4-2-3-1-V2. Now, it is an incredible tactic, and it might boost me up the rankings a little bit, because it is literally one of the best tactics you'll ever play with this year. Now, what I will say is, I am not familiar with the players, so I'm not going to pretend that I know anyone, because I feel like it's a bit disrespectful, me going, oh, you know, I know Coffee is a fantastic player, watched him for years. I really haven't. Now, what I will say is, the expectations are quite low in the first season, despite having this incredible tactic. I would take anything inside of, well, let's go and have a little look. I would take anything inside of this top 4, to be honest with you, and maybe a little trophy if we can do it. I would imagine they are going to be predicting a 9th place finish. 200 to 1 odds for us to win the league. If you've got a spare couple of quid, whack a bit on it as well, because you may as well. But overall, I will say, even with this team, the squad itself is looking pretty small. I mean, all of the contracts also expire in 2024. Now, what I will say is, when you're doing a save like this, very rarely the players will stick with you. So if I win this season, a lot of them are already going to be wanting to leave. I won't be able to renew contracts, so I am going to resign that over to staff. So hopefully, mid-season, they can do some of that as well. Now, if you are playing back home, you would have had a massive budget of £0 to spend, so hope you had fun with that. And that's the other part of the rebuild I'm going to find very hard today, because I'm not used to signing players that are only really attracted to coming into the Irish League, because obviously no Premier League players, no Championship players, not even Sky Bet League 1 players will probably want to come for the entire rebuild, unless we do start progressing quite quickly. So let's get into the first season with this team, a very consistent formation, and see what we can do. So right into the Senior Challenge Cup, and to be fair, I was incredibly impressed with how we played. We went 1-0 up inside of 51 minutes, and we actually go on to win this final 5 minutes after with a 2-0 lead, a great ball in, and an even better finish. It's not the biggest shock. We actually win the Irish Premier Division in our first season. This is all down to the tactic, I will be honest with you, but overall it was ridiculously close. 2 points between us and Derry City. We've got Murphy and Dossety coming in with 22 and 19 goals. We've got 2 players with the most assists. We've got a great average rating. Defensively, I don't think we were that strong. I mean, we're not going to be in the top 3. We're going to be down in 6th when it comes to conceded, and also down in 5th when it comes to the clean sheets. So overall, that tells me the defence might need some investment, and that is definitely going to be the focus point for this, which means the only thing we didn't actually win is going to be this Irish Munster Senior Cup. We won the Irish Senior Challenge Cup, a lot of words coming in, so it is going to be a double, way more than what I expected. I was not expecting to win this league for probably 2 seasons, so a very good start to this video. Obviously, it helps us no way really with our overall goal, but we'll take it. And as you can see, some of the players have actually been putting up really good stat lines. Murphy with 25, we've got Jack here coming in with 23, 19 coming in for Bargary, we've got Coffee coming in with 14, 8 coming in for Craig. We've got some really good players here, and what I will say is the assists, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players coming in with over 10 assists, which is really good to see at this level. Now, of course, going over to the finances, we are going to go and have a little look. We are going to have a budget of £100,000. Now, I will see in case any transfer activity has been happening. I don't think it has. This was all obviously done from previous times. Overall, we have not done too much. Now, I will say we are not going to have anything going on with 258 grand. I think realistically, we're going to have to try and keep some of these players on contracts. Obviously, we've got a player here who was on loan anyway. And maybe what we are going to do live on video, actually, is going to have a little look at the under-19s. And luckily for us, we have got 3 players there with somewhat good potential. I'm going to look at them individually and see if they are worth promoting up into that first team. Let's get into the second transfer window with our big budget and go and have a load of fun. Let me first tell you how hard it is for me to actually get used to this. Finding players that are attracted is so difficult. First up, it's going to be Thomas coming in. He looks absolutely incredible. 16 acceleration, 15 pace. I will be honest, it is everything to do with his pace, which is why I'm calling him class, because he is just going to absolutely tear this league, getting behind loads of pace. We love to see it. We're also going to bring in a great goalkeeper in Mark McCallum, coming in and, to be honest, a bit on the older side, but I think offers a lot of experience and a very good level for this league. Daniel Dobbin coming in on the free. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Our options are so limited. And as you can see, completely on the free. He is not the best of the best. But when you've got such a very small selection, you've got to get what you can grab. The same goes for Paul Fox. This is purely a squad signing. I'm not going to say he's any good, to be honest with you. He is purely there to boost up the numbers. Again, the reason why he's on here is because he literally cost me £0. He's only on £300 a week, not 300,000, £300 a week, which is less than a lot of people's full-time jobs, which is quite interesting. But overall, yeah, it's not a great signing, but it's a signing we needed. And lastly, I've prepared myself for the future a little bit in Lorcan Healy coming in. A player definitely for the future on loan at this point, but I will see how he does. He's a young goalkeeper. Again, our goalkeepers are pretty iffy, all I'm going to say. So I'm hoping this guy can come in on £425 a week, a little bit more than the previous player. Obviously, have a good loan season. If we can afford him, I will make that signing permanent. But overall, players going out, we literally had none, which is quite good because it means we've not lost anyone. I will also say we've got this player joining on the free, which is going to be Nicky Lau. 32 years of age, so again, a little bit older, but he actually suits a deep line playmaker quite well. He's got very good passing for this sort of level of football, and despite being 32, at £200 a week, you can't really go wrong. But the tactic and the team is now going to look a little bit like this. We are going to filter by the best 11, and as you can see, this man up front gets right in there. Thomas is hopefully going to come in and score goals upon goals upon goals upon goals. That is the main aim. And what I will say is, obviously, this league is a little bit different to the Premier League, of course, the Bundesliga, of course, and we're always part the way through the season. So you can see here the schedule. We've smashed the friendlies. We also go out and win this President's Cup to win against Derry City. So we've already got one trophy in the bank for this season. But with this new team, let's actually get into the actual season and finish it off and see what we can do. But we've got an incredible final here. It is going to be the Munster Senior Cup. And I will say, things got off to a very, very lively start. As you can see, we come out and make it 1-0. They then bounce back with a great set piece, to be fair. And they also go on to take the lead. Literally a couple of minutes after, awful defending and a great finish there coming in from Dollar. We come and turn into a different beast now. We made a few tactical tweaks, pretty much went to that attack and variant, and Ola comes in and does get his goal. We then decide to turn into prime Dimitri Payet with Dossety there scoring an incredible free kick, and there's still plenty of goals to come. A ball across the side, a great ball in there, a great finish from Coffee to make it 4-2. We then go edge of the box, we are scoring absolute bangers, and we wrap up this final 6-2 in the end with a great bit of play through the middle, and again, an absolute rocket. We are also going to win back-to-back Premier Division titles, and this time we are slowly building that gap from first to second. 83 points in first, 64 in second. It's becoming quite dominant now, and as you can see, Doherty comes in with 25 goals. We've got Thomas coming in with 17. We've got 3 players in the average rating, and our new goalkeeper picks up the most clean sheets. So that clearly was the issue compared to last season. But as the rest of it goes, you can see right now, it wasn't too pretty. It is going to be the Premier Division, the Senior Challenge Cup, and that President's Cup. Other than that, it wasn't ideal, to be honest with you. I mean, the Champions League, it knocked out in the, you know, the path playoffs is not where we want to go. I want to get to at least the knockouts, you know, the one before the round of 16. When it comes to the Europa League, again, we've done okay, but we'll see where we can go. I really want to try and push for the Champions League. That is going to be the main aim. But overall, in terms of squad stats, we've heavily relied on Jack Doherty coming in. Now, this is a player who, to be honest, might not even look that good to you to the eye, but in this league, he is an absolute menace. 29 coming in for Thomas, so these two really did carry us to victory. We then have, Bagari coming in with 22, 10 coming in there for Barry. And again, with assists, it's really strange because although the goals are being scored by, you know, well, 3 players key, we've got a lot of players here contributing with the assists, which is really good to see. Now, what I will say is what I'm struggling with at the moment is to have a squad that is staying at quite a decent size, because they're having a good season, then they go, and obviously, as they would in real life, you're not going to stay over an island for the rest of your career. So that is the issue we're having, and it does become quite challenging because you can build a great team. So, for example, it's going to be quite worrying to see how long Jack's going to be at the club, how long Thomas is going to be at the club, because they are really key figures in this system. They literally took us, you know, not single-handedly, but to an Irish Premier Division. Obviously, you've got the Irish Senior Challenge Cup and this President's Cup. It's a treble-winning season, but without them sort of players, you can't get anything done. And we have been given a budget of that's actually quite good. £6 million to take into the third transfer window. We're going to go try and spend it. I don't want to spend it all because this is a club where I feel can easily go south if you spend. So let's go into the third transfer window and see what we can do. So it is going to be a loan, but also a permanent signing afterwards. It is going to be Ethan Sutcliffe coming in from AFC Wimbledon, which is quite a big team to sign from in this league, on £250 a week, and he's just another really good centre-back option for this division. He's quite strong, which is a real good bonus, and again, only 21 years of age and can improve a lot. A free signing we discussed previously is going to be Nicky Lowe. Again, we already discussed him, but it appears like he's developed even more compared to the last season. I say developed, he is 33. It's gotten better. We're then going to bring in Lee, the Leif Davis, basically B-Tech version. That is going to come in from Waterford. Now, this is going to be a player who actually looks really good in this team. He's quite quick for a left-back in this division, decent tackling, he's got decent crossing, good teamwork, good work rate, etc, etc. He is 26 again, but I cannot stress this enough. The options I have are so limited. We can't go and sign a wonder kid left back. We are so limited to the players that actually want to join an Irish team. A free signing, but one I'm sort of excited to have in, that is going to be Matty Wolf coming in from Barnsley. Again, a big team to bring a player in from. 24 years of age, he could become a star Premier Division player. That's all you need to hear. Then going to welcome Adam Lennon, not Aaron Lennon. Adam Lennon coming in from Bray Wanderers. I don't know too much about this player, but he offers some decent pace, a decent cross at him as well, to be fair. He can become a leading Premier Division player, and again, purely signed for rotation. Clearly got an addiction to signing goalkeepers, and part of it is because I've already seen one of our goalkeepers has got interest in leaving, so I thought, you know what, I'm not going to end up being midway through a season. Next thing I know, we've got no goalkeeper. So Jordan Smith is going to come in, and he cost me a grand total of £0 from Stockport. Again, a big player to bring in from a big club, and he is going to be to start with backup, but potentially get into the first team. We're then also going to welcome in a very solid right back, Alex Dunn, coming in from UCD, and you know what? I say solid, I've never actually used him, but he looks very, very good in terms of this division. He offers quite a lot of pace, really good tackling, good off the ball work, good marking, good passing, and again can play as a wing back, complete wing back, can play up the field as well. So if we do need him to even go up to play that real high right back role, he can do it. And again, he cost me a grand total of 275 grand. So I mean, it's not a lot of money considering we had, what, 6 million. We're also going to bring in Stephen Healy purely for backup. That is purely for backup, and as you can see, he cost me 110k, so virtually nothing. And for a 20-year-old player to offer me a bit of rotation and can grow a little bit, it's not a big price to pay. And then we're going to welcome in another fullback, because we are a little bit short on the left-hand side. We are going to welcome in Evan Ozam coming in from Bray Wanderers. He cost me 135k, and again, very similar to the other left back, he just looks very, very good for this level. I'm not saying he's good for the Premier League, because he'd probably get turned inside out, but overall for this league he looks very, very good. And the great bit of news is, so far we have lost only 4 players here, which is always annoying because we never get any money for them, but we've brought in a lot more than what we have lost, meaning our squad size is actually looking quite good. And if we go and have a look right now, the starting 11 isn't really going to change too much, but we have got a big bench now, big as what we could possibly manage, and we kept the spending down. We only spent around about 1.8 of that £6 million, or over £6 million, so a really, really good sort of bit of discipline when it comes to the transfer windows, because I know I get a little bit crazy sometimes. Now, going over to the schedule, of course we've played some already. We are going to be going, wow, this is a lot going on. The Europa League, obviously, games coming in there. The President's Cup, where you've got to win against Shelbourne right there. We're now going into the semi-finals, literally now going in against Cockhill in the Munster Senior Cup semi-final. The Europa League, we're already out of, so don't worry. I could have ended the video here, by the way, because it is going to be the knockout round, but I want to make it a Champions League, because a Europa League seems a little bit B-Tech, so we're going to aim big. It might take me 50 seasons, I don't know, but we are now going into the actual official finishing off of that third season, and so far we are currently in second place. We've lost 2 games, we've won 4 games, we've got a 1-point lead on third, we're only 2 points off Sligo Rovers. I think we can win it again. Let's get into Season 3. So we are going to come out and win the Irish Premier Division again, which is going to make it 3 on the bounce now, which is absolutely mental to me. It is going to be Thomas coming in with 21 goals, Patterson, Coffey and Sutcliffe first, second and third with the average rating, which is really good to see. We've got joint first when it comes to the assists, and McCallum picks up the most clean sheets once again. And I will say, in terms of points, an incredibly dominating season. But unfortunately for us, everything else is going to be pretty much what you'd expect. I mean, it's not gone too well. The semi-finals of the Irish Senior Challenge Cup, the President's Cup, we already know we won against Shelbourne. The Champions League, we're going to end up in 23rd, and we get knocked out quite early on, so we don't even really make it to a good knockoff round of that either. Final doing incredibly well, I will say. Other than that, it's quite a reserve season, so it is just going to be the 2 trophies this season and no real progress in that Champions League challenge. Now, we'll go over to the goals being scored. We've got 32 for Thomas. We're going to have Bargary coming in with 22, 14 coming in for Barry, Greg coming in with 12, 11 for Jack, Phoenix coming in with 11, Adam Lennon with 5, and a selection of other players also contributing, 5 or 4 goals. The assist-wise, it is dropping off a little bit, to be honest. Not as many players contributing the 10+ mark, which is worrying, because usually we're used to seeing quite a big contribution in terms of players. But what I will say is, we are losing players left, right and centre now. And when I say losing players, it could be their interest, it could be literally they are not happy at the club, and that is because when you win the league, they think, do you know what? I'm going to get a move to the Premier League now. I'm going to go to the Bundesliga. I'm going to go to Spain. And you can't really stop them, because we play in Ireland. We've got no pull, realistically. Now, I will say, in terms of the stats, it makes it quite difficult, because I usually look at this stat line right here, is in the goals scored, the goals conceded. I'm like, right, if the goals conceded was, for example, the 4th best, and we were the best at scoring, I'd be like, right, we can clearly improve on our back line. But I think the issue I've got now is the team I've got on paper isn't actually that bad for this league. It literally is just, we've got to improve it for Champions League knockout, and I will say that's not easy to do when we can't go and sign even relegation Premier League players. They're not anywhere near interested. So the players we've got are actually really good for this league and the cups, but the Champions League and European competitions, they can't cut the mustard. Now, we have been given a budget of 13 million, which is a lot of money, probably made up of the fact that we are winning things, we're not really spending, and I guess we are also, freeing up players' wages by letting them go on the free, etc, etc. A lot of things can factor in to why we're getting more money now, and I will say, with 13 million, we might be able to go and bring some players in, but to be honest with you, it's not even the money we've been receiving. It's the fact that even if we had 100 million, we can't attract the right players. Let's get into the next transfer window and hopefully bring in some players that might be able to push me to that Champions League knockout. First up is going to be a player that came in actually last season towards the end. That is going to be Phoenix Patterson, a player who, to be honest, looks really, really good for this league. A leading Premier Division player, can play on the left and on the right. He's incredibly quick, good at dribbling. His finishing's actually quite good as well. And this might be a player that can actually cause some damage against some European sides. As you saw when we filtered by the best 11 in the last window, our goalkeeper wasn't as good, and you might have got a sleep glimpse of this signing, Daniel Barden. He is going to come in from Boreham Wood. Again, our goalkeepers come in, they seem to not have much to do, and they seem just to go down in quality. I don't know why, because they're not even conceding goals, but our goalkeeper that we signed a couple of seasons ago was up here and slowly come down to here, so we're forced to bring in one more. Also going to welcome in Bolger. You can never have enough centre-backs in this team because the injuries are absolutely dominant. This is going to be a signing that was made purely on the fact that he was free, because he is 33, but to be honest, for a season or two, he'll do the job. Again, a very similar story can be told for Ethan Boyle, previously of Rexford and Linfield coming in. As you can see, coming in on the free, and what I will say about this guy is he loves a challenge. He's aggressive, he's reasonably quick for his age, to be honest, and purely for this player, he was signed the fact he was free, but also the fact of his experience, and also he's very versatile, can play at centre-back, right-back, and in the midfield, and to be honest, he might just be the player you need to sort of get you through some of these games. Not a free signing, I might have picked up a slight addiction to signing right-backs it comes across as we are going to bring in Carl Johnston, coming in from Fleetwood Town for £375,000, makes him one of the more expensive signings of this transfer window, but do you know what, 23 years of age, Northern Irish, keeping in that Irish sort of blood, a star Premier Division player, welcome in. This was a really good pickup, and I'm surprised that he was actually available on the free. From Shrewsbury as well, a decent team, 26 years of age, we're going to welcome in Tom. He comes in, can become a star Premier Division player, already looks quite complete for this level, and although he's on quite a fair bit of money per week for this level, I think he's going to get into the team pretty much right away. This is someone that definitely can get into the team if he doesn't in the future, but it's going to be Evan coming in, Evan Caffrey coming in from Shamrock Rovers, and again, 23 years of age, Irish, always keeping it in, although to be honest, we've not really got much option because they're the only people that want to join a club like this, which it's a little bit annoying because we are doing really well, we're winning a lot of trophies, but until you become a really well-established club, not many people are going to want to join you from the Premier League, but overall, this is one for the future. He's only on £600 a week, and as I said, he cost me virtually nothing, so welcome in to Evan. We're also going to welcome in Paris Locke. Now, this guy, I honestly think is going to cause some issues. He's incredibly quick on the wing, and to be honest, in this league, that's all you need is a little bit of speed. He can play on the right, on the left, and up front, and he cost me a grand total of 155k. Virtually nothing. He's on 2.8k a week, so a fair bit of money, but we are slowly now getting players that might actually cause issue to big teams. And lastly, we are going to bring in Nico Lawrence. He looks a little bit on the larger side in the profile picture, so I imagine a bit of a unit, but overall, despite not being the quickest, he's got good determination, he's got good tackling, good passing, good marking, he's only 22, can become a leading Premier Division player, and he costs me literally nothing because he is going to be on loan. Now, what I will say is if he does come in and he performs well, I obviously will sign him on the permanent, but for now it is purely a loan move, and hopefully he can develop and show me something to why he should be at this club for the future. Now, I will say the team looks a little bit like this, so he does get into the team right off the bat. It's going to be Barden, Johnston, Lawrence, Bolger, Lee, Lau, Bolger, two Bolgers, Locke, Bayliss, Patterson, and also that is Thomas up front. So this lad does come in. The 26-year-old who I was hyping up a lot does come in, and hopefully we'll get the job done. Of course, we have played games already, and again, we have won that President's Cup 2-1. So it was done in extra time, a bit of a close game, and it is going to be Ethan Sutcliffe who does get the winner overall. Now, I could have ended the video here. I could have ended it because obviously we did get to the actual, we done really well. We got to the knockoff playoff round and we did get matched up against Barcelona. We got absolutely humbled and I refuse to pass over a save file that I don't think can beat the team at least in the first bit of the knockout round. So we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on grinding because I want to give you the best Patreon file you have ever got for a challenge. So I'm going to keep on pushing until I've got a team that I think can honestly beat whoever we face in that first knockoff round. But technically we've already done our challenge, but because I'm nice, we're going to carry on and see how far we can take it. Let's get in to the actual next season and see how we do. We may as well watch that President's Cup, and as you can see, it was actually not a great start as they actually go 1-0 up Shelbourne. Obviously pre-season tournament, but we bounce back, and when you're sort of coming back into games this early on in the season in this fashion and winning at 2-1, you know you got a little bit of ice. And with that is why we've come out and won another Premier Division, making it 4 back-to-back. Cork City, again, a 20-point advantage. Thomas and Patterson first and third. We've got the new lad coming in, obviously the new Cam coming in with 12 assists, joint first, ranking in the best player out of anybody in the league. We've got Patterson in second place and Matty Wolf coming in third place, 7.3 match rating. Now what I will say is, I was not expecting to win 4 on the bounce. We're making a mockery of how easy this division can be. We're dominating Derry, Shelbourne, Shamrock. We are absolutely having a laugh of them. It's an incredible display, and as you can see, that is only going to be the 2 trophies. Runners-up in the Irish Senior Cup Challenge against Sligo Rovers, so a potential treble off the cards. And again, as you can see, knocked out in the Champions Path playoff by Bodemo Glimt. So a little bit frustrated in that regard as well. In terms of the Europa League, we're going to be down in 21st place, so we still can do something in that. But I think for now, because obviously I could have ended the video last season, I have to get you to a really good stage to make this video complete now, because I'm trying to push and push and push and give you the best team possible that you can have fun with. Now, I will say, despite only winning 2 trophies, what I am happy to see about is a lot of goals being scored by a lot of different people. 38 for Thomas, Phoenix Patterson, the new player we talked about previously, you know, of Tottenham and Watford, by the way. So two big teams there coming in with 19 goals. 14 for Paris, Greg coming in there, who is retiring, unfortunately, with 12 goals. Tom coming in with 10. Assist-wise, we're going to have Lee, Tom Bayliss, the player who I really hope carries on playing the way he is. He is 27, but of course, still a few years in him. And again, assist-wise, they are slowly coming back in terms of quality and quantity, but overall, it is going to be heavily reliant on these two players here. So it's going to be Lee and Bayliss, which are going to be our left-back and obviously our central attacking midfield player. Now, going into what is going to be the 5th transfer window, we are flying by. We have got a budget of £42 million to spend going into the next window. Again, we're not really spending much money and we are getting results, but it might come to a point where we've got to spend to actually take us from a team that gets absolutely battered in the first round of the playoffs to a team that can compete and go forward. So we'll see what we can do in terms of players, in terms of people that are happy. Everyone, you got a couple of people wanted down here, to be honest with you. You know, it's one of them. We've got contracts that probably are going to be coming up, quite a fair few. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to spend our money on, you know, keeping some of these players, hopefully. Some players can leave, you know, their ability is slowly going down the pan. I imagine we've got quite a few old players as well on the books. 38, 34, yeah, well, not too many actually. We've only sort of got, what, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players who are actually 30 and above, so not too bad there at all. But let's get into the 5th transfer window after winning another 2 trophies and see what we can do. First up on the 3 is going to be Wesley Fongmuck, coming in from Hampton and Richmond. Again, he just looks like a player who can get the job done. Incredibly strong and a bit of a workhorse in the midfield. 29 years of age, and again, a good Premier Division player, and just a player who can come in and play games if needed. And I can't stop signing goalkeepers. Luke McNicholas is going to come in, and the reason I brought him in is because he was a freebie, and I cannot turn down free players because I can go and sell them in the future, or simply just keep them, or just have them there if needed. And to be honest with you, he looks quite good. He's only 27, which is young for a goalkeeper. Welcome in, Luke. I want to bring in another Tottenham player, a previous Tottenham player in Charlie Sayers. Coming in again. He's very, very young, which is really, really good for this team because we need a little bit of youth in this team. He can play anywhere across the back line, and purely for that reason, and that reason alone, and the fact he was on the free, we're going to welcome him in. Right. It will be my last goalkeeper signing, I promise. We are going to welcome in Marcelo from Liverpool. Now, when Liverpool have had a player, whether he's played a game or not, you know he's done something right. He's there for a reason of some kind. He looks absolutely incredible and will be our definite first-team goalkeeper, and maybe can push us to an actual good stage in the Champions League. He's coming in on the free, but yeah, he's something special. We're then going to welcome in Aaron McEnough, I believe is how you say that, coming in from Shamrock Rovers. Again, very easy to get these players from our league because we are so dominant in the league. And again, a 31-year-old, so a bit of experience again. And I'm just hoping more tailored to keeping us consistent in the league and the Irish competitions. I'm hoping bringing in a player like this who has played here a lot of his career can really hope to keep winning these titles, because if we carry on, we can do a 5 out of 5. Next up is going to be Ryan Cassidy, coming in from Bohemians and previously of Watford, Accrington and St Kevin's. And I will say this is a player who looks very, very good. 14 acceleration, 13 pace, good composure, good finishing, good first touch as well for this division. And again, he cost me a grand total of 375k. So for that, I'll take the gamble. Next up is going to be another wing back. That is going to be Williams Kokolo, coming in from Swindon Town and previously of Burton. Played for some big clubs, to be honest, Middlesbrough and Sunderland. He is Congolese and, you know what, 26 years of age, but he's still got the pace, he's still got the tackling, he's got decent passing, good work rate, 6.25k a week, and he cost me 425,000. Next up is going to be Mason Hancock, coming in from, I'm not going to say the name because I will butcher it. If anyone can let me know how you say that, please do let me know. But this is definitely one for the future, right? He's a star Premier Division player already, and he still could improve slightly. Now, the reason why I signed him and the wing-back we just shown is because I might actually end up playing this guy at centre-back, because he can play both positions really, really well, and he just looks really good. He's on a fair bit of money, considering his age, but do you know what? Is one good player. Similar story can be told for Neil coming in here, or Niall, not Neil, coming in from Waterford should I say, a player who cost me a grand total of 160k, and just a player for the future really at the end of the day. You can never have enough midfield players. I saw the injury list last year and it worried me big time. You've got to imagine when you're playing in so many competitions, which you do over in Ireland, and then you're trying to do well in Europa League and the Champions League, either one that you're in, you've got to have squad depth. So welcome in to Niall. And we are also going to back that up by bringing in another another midfielder in Ethan Coleman. The great thing about this is we can't attract necessarily top tier players, but we can attract a lot and guarantee the players that we are trying to get, because they're going to be guaranteed a better move. The players that aren't interested are your Premier League teams. The ones that are from a much worse off point than what we are. So welcome into Ethan. He looks incredibly well rounded. He's a little bit on the older side. For 200k, I'll take the punt. And lastly, we are going to welcome in Lewis Brunt, another DM / centre back, 26 years of age, a leading Premier Division player, can become a Star Division player, incredibly well rounded, previously of Cardiff, Leicester, Manfields, Gloucester and Aston Villa. So played for some big teams on £500, cost me £500,000, and on £7,000 a week. This guy is going to be our last signing, and as you can see, we brought in all of these players and only lost 4. So again, keeping the squad big, which obviously is key for definitely trying to get this challenge done. Now, going over to the tactics, we are going to instantly load in the best 11, which is going to consist of our new goalkeeper, Marcelo. We've got Johnston, Bolger, Hancock, Cocolo, Coleman, Brunt, Locke, Bayliss, Patterson, and Thomas does remain up front. So the back line especially is changed quite a fair bit, to be honest with you. It's done really, really well, and I'm hoping with a new look back line, we can take this take the game to the teams, because we need to do it. And I will say, schedule-wise, we are absolutely cooking. We actually got past the quarterfinals here in 8-0 fashion, which is a great start. This first, yeah, this isn't going too well, I will be honest. I mean, Atletico Madrid are a tough team to beat. We got a point against Sparta Prague, but overall, it's not looking too great. But we're going to carry on through this 5th season, see what we can do with this new look team, and hopefully bring home a 5th out of 5th potential league title. The President's Cup was a bit of an easier game, we'll say that this season, as we are going to bring it home. I won't ruin it for you, but I'll say there's quite a fair few goals, and all of the goals come in the first half. These goals literally minutes apart, making it 3-0 all inside here after this goal goes in from Phoenix, back inside, 3-0 in 8 minutes. 27 minutes on the clock, Johnston down the right hand side, cut it back into Brunt, who goes alone. It's incredibly lucky, bit of a deflection, and the last goal here coming inside of 30 minutes to wrap up this final 5-0. The cup final is also going to be quite an easy final, to be honest. Phoenix plays an incredible ball. If anyone wants a good youngster, by the way, pick him up, because he is doing bits for me, and we actually win that 2-0. And as you can see by the stats, Ramblers need to stop rambling, because they done absolutely nothing. And it's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be pretty easy. You know, this is why the tactics cook the way they do. It's going to be 5 out of 5 on the Bounce League titles. And if you want to add a little bit of spice to the mix, we also go invincible. We don't lose a single game. No games lost. 32 wins, 4 draws, 100 points. First top goal scorer, joint second. First average rating, Patterson coming in. Third average rating, Patterson most assists. Tom coming in with a third amount of assists. Our new goalkeeper picking up the most clean sheets. And we absolutely dominated everyone. A fantastic, and I mean a fantastic season. Now, what I will say is that it's going to be 1 trophy, 2 trophy, and we did win that Monster Cup. We saw it, so it is going to be 3 trophies. Now, what I will say is runners-up in the Senior Challenge Cup, we lost 4-3 against Shamrock, so potentially could have been a quadruple, and we are in this stage, so hopefully we can, you know, get to the knockout or the knockout playoff rounds, whatever they're called, and see what we can do. Now, I am going to say there's some big teams in this mix, so we're going to have to get quite lucky as well, I think, to see what we can do. But overall, a really, really strong season, a season where we've got players scoring 40 goals now from Ryan Cassidy coming in, who is going to be that player who literally come in last season and done a great job for us instantly off the bat, which we do love to be seeing. I thought I lost all my players then. 24 coming in for Phoenix, Thomas with 22, still being that goal scorer, Paris with 17, 16 for Tom, Lewis Brunt coming in with 9 as well, a real good contribution, and the same can be said for the assists, as now we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 11 players, if you imagine it in the starting 11, are picking up 10 plus assists in that season. A really good set of stats. Now, going into what is going to be the 6th transfer window, we have got a budget of 40, more than that, because we haven't spent, have we? £64 million. Now, finance-wise, I've left you guys in such a good place if you are going to carry this on. But, of course, the rebuild's not over yet. Let's get into Season 6 of the transfers and hopefully see how we can do in this Champions League knockout as well, because that's the main aim now. So despite having most of our staff absolutely savagely taken, I have replaced as many as what I can, but I do think I am now at a point where I can hand over this rebuild file to you over on the Patreon with the tactic, and you can set the challenge and win the challenge of winning the Champions League, because there's a couple of reasons. The first one is, I am comfortable with the squad I've left you. I've left you with a very, very good team. We've improved this team tenfold. A lot of the players are staying. You've also got a budget of £54 million because we have to spend a little bit to keep players at the club. So you've still got £54 million. You've still got time to go in. And, get ready, you are in the Champions League knockoff playoff rounds, whatever they're called, I always butcher it, against Juventus. And I do think Juventus are a team which you can beat. At the end of the day, if we go over, for example, to the schedule, they are a very beatable team. This season already, they've had a lot of slip-ups. Last season, a lot of slip-ups in this calendar. You can beat them as a team. I genuinely believe that with the team you've got now and with the players you can bring in, because obviously now you are officially in the Champions League, you can get it done. So honestly, that is going to be me done for this rebuild. I've had so much fun doing it with a harder team. It's so challenging, but so fun. A lot more trophies been brought into the club, but also we're now in the biggest competition in a very good stage. If you have enjoyed today's rebuild, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you do want to carry on this challenge, which today is for you to win the Champions League with Cork City, you can go over to the Patreon and show some love back to me as a creator. You get the rebuild files, you get my tactics, and over 11 more perks, including access to monthly giveaways. You can go over and get involved, but I'll be seeing you in the next one.